You're right. Now, I want to show you the temperatures very quickly because that's where we're seeing these 70s and talking about the instability in the atmosphere. We use temperatures and dew points as a good measure of that and a good indicator. So when we see the warmer air, that means the air is buoyant. We've got 70 degrees in Gadsden, even at this hour, still close to 80 degrees in Tuscaloosa. A few spots where the atmosphere may not be quite as ripe. It's a bit cooler. Hamilton's at 64. Their temperatures didn't quite rebound quite like other parts of the state did. Look at Clanton sitting at 78 degrees. So there's a lot of untapped energy in southeast Alabama right now. And I also want to mention those dew point values. Don't talk about these very often. Generally, we talk about these in the summertime when it's just hot and humid and steamy and it gives our feels like temperatures to egregious numbers. But for today, looking at mid to upper 60s and low 70 dew point values again this hour of the night. And considering we had a dry start this morning, dew points went from the 50s to the 70s fast. So we saw a quick turnaround in how that atmosphere responded and it really rebounded. So we're still seeing some pretty rich dew point temperatures, which this is a good indicator of how much water is in the atmosphere. And that is, again, something that feeds these storms. So the threats for today continue to be high winds being our greatest threat. We've shown you some of those wind speeds on our velocity product, 70, 80 mile per hour winds. Tornadoes still highly likely. We've been tracking them all afternoon. We've talked about some large hail, and there's areas where we could still be dealing with some localized flooding in some spots. So, you know, a lot of things to keep in mind today. We'll go back to the maps now as we look at our potential for these severe storms. Again, those tornado warnings beginning to expand over many parts of central Alabama and now East Alabama, emerging east of I-65, now tracking up Interstate 59. So Reese City all the way over towards Powell. And again, we're getting into the northern part of Cherokee County with Cedar Bluff, the city of Center, and heavy rainfall there. Want to show you our storm relative velocity because as we talked about before, there's a couple of areas of rotation that could be of interest with this particular system. One close to Reese City, we can see that moving towards Center, and that's where you see these brighter colors on your map here. And your storm team, the velocity basically is a way that we can see the spin in the atmosphere without talking about all of the rain. So the reflectivity shows us where the rain is falling, how hard that rain is falling, and that radar will take shape certain time that are indicators, but really it's the velocity that tells us where that spin is happening. So that's where we're looking at that. So one of those areas is up towards Albertville and Crossville. We'll let our Huntsville station take some of the northern fringe once it gets towards Gunnersville. But for us, it's Reese City, it's Gadsden, Center, and Cedar Bluff. And that's where we're going to be tracking the greatest threat for some of these little areas of rotation. But notice where you see the little green and the red kind of embedded together. That's where we would likely see this rotation. And as mentioned before, it looks like there's just some small little areas of spin up within this particular storm system. One thing that I'm grateful to note today is that we do not have these long track tornadoes that they had in Mississippi. I mean, we're talking the difference of 90 to 100 miles, and that could have been us today. And for right now, that's not part of our story. Now, does that mean we're out of the woods just yet? Absolutely not. We have a very dynamic atmosphere in place, and we still have several hours of severe weather to track tonight. But for now, we have been able to, I think, remain relatively unscathed by this. There's been some structures that have gotten some damage. We've had reports of trees down, but I really believe that shelter in place, that has helped to reduce the amount of injury today, because this could have been a very different story. And as we continue to track these storms overnight tonight, we're going to really see if that holds true. So, all right, so now we're still looking at our radar. Again, a pretty broad scan on our radar at this time. Even as we look at our debris indicator, there's not a whole lot showing up. Now we are seeing just a little bit of a kind of a different color there on the map, but nothing that really grabs my attention. Maybe between Leonard, Ewing, Leesburg, down towards Aubrey Isle and Maple Grove, that's where we could be seeing maybe a little bit of a debris there in the atmosphere. But by and large, let's look at our relative velocity again. And actually, I'm going to switch over to our Huntsville radar really quick, because I think we'll get a little bit better picture of that storm relative velocity there from our Huntsville. There we go. Okay, that is a little bit better. When we have, there we go, there's that rotation. That's near Lay Springs currently, and that's going to be in the northern part of Etowah County. So let's go ahead and zoom into Lay Springs where we can get a better view of where we are seeing this rotation occur. And it really and truly, I'm going to include two. There almost looks like there's two either one large broad area of rotation or almost two smaller areas of rotation. And don't let the word small fool you into thinking that it's not going to be a big deal. It just means that on this particular map, there could be a little separation, or again, just kind of one broad area of rotation. Otherwise, we're looking at this kind of hooking back around. You see where that green's kind of meeting the red back there towards Greenwood. That's where we would likely see the best chance for rotation. So even on our debris tracker, again, there may be just a little bit of a variation in color there near Flanders, north of Greenwood, heading towards Lay Springs. And then this is going to track into the northern part of Cherokee County. So zooming out, and if you're just joining us, maybe wondering why we're talking about Etowah County or where we're even talking about because we're zoomed so far in, here's a quick recap. We'll do a quick reset just to give everybody the benefit of knowing exactly where we are looking at these storms right now. So this is the situation across central Alabama at this time. We're looking at a lot of rainfall. This is now the heaviest rain, and the most active part of the storms are now lifting in to closer, well, they're moving into the Huntsville viewing market, but kind of the Tennessee Valley. So this will be northeast Alabama over towards Fort Payne. And then this is really what remains right now, but that's not the end of it, okay? So even though we've already had an active day of weather so far, it's not necessarily the end of our storms as they sit right now. And here's why. We're looking at these storms tonight as we look at our, I want to look at our national radar, because this takes us back into Mississippi, and this is where we can actually get an idea of what's going on the radar. Disregard how crazy it looks in Alabama. This is a composite radar, but here's what we're looking at. By and large, we still have several thunderstorms back towards southern Mississippi. So this entire line back towards Mississippi still has to move into Alabama. And the direction of these storms, they've been generally moving to the northeast, okay? So yes, they're tracking east slowly, but they're zipping off to the north. So it's, imagine kind of pulling a string, or, you know, you have a train track over one area, and that train's going over that one area, but it's slowly sliding to the east as it moves. So it's almost as though we have two directional components to this. So what we're going to notice with these storms back towards Mississippi is it's like you're pulling this string of storms up to where we are, but they're slowly inching eastbound as you're continuing to pull that string of storms northbound. So the night of weather is not over for us, even though we may see some breaks or some gaps in a lot of these storms. But a lot of the activity right now in northeast Alabama, and it looks like flooding is going to become a potential very soon as these rain showers are really soaking parts of East Mississippi.